Dear viewers, thank you very much for listening to this channel. As I've said before also, this channel is essentially meant to provide the motivation to such people who do not believe in God, or even if they believe, their faith is so weak that they consider that this has nothing to do with the practical life. So in order that they may start believing in God in the way they need to do, so that they eventually succeed in the life hereafter. So this is toward this end that I've started this channel. Now, it was toward this end that in the previous vlog I mentioned an approach, that if that approach is adopted by anyone, it will eventually lead him towards believing in God. And it will benefit anyone, in fact, who want to seek the true guidance in the true perspective. So now, coming back to that approach, see, it has three parts. First part is looking inwards. Second, looking outwards. Third, looking backwards. Just in 2 words, each one part can be described. Now, what is meant by these things has been already explained in the previous vlog. So now the first part, that is looking inwards, that is the subject of my conversation today with you. Now, in this, I want to invite you towards the self-analysis, contemplation, self-meditation, you can say. That person start to think about himself, his origin, his qualities of heart and soul that he possesses, how he was created, and who created him, what is the purpose of the life, and where is he heading to, what is going to happen to him after he dies, what are his ultimate abodes. Now, to seek the answer to these questions is my basic purpose of this vlog. Now, dear viewers, as you know, that a person has 3 phases of life. First phase is from the conception to delivery, that is about 9 months period in the womb of the mother, which is the formative stage of the child. The second phase is from the birth till death, that is the lifetime, and the most important phase of the life, where he lives his life, does the good or bad things, whatever his heart and soul guides him, and then he dies, and after the death, the third phase of the life starts, which is mostly spiritual life. Of course, body also is given to him by the Creator from time to time, of course, but basically it is through the spirit that he is living. And in this third phase, he has to receive the reward or the punishment of what he's been doing in his lifetime. So he can't change that, he can't do anything about it. He's only on the receiving end, you can say. So now, coming back to the first phase of life, because this, if you think deeply, will provide you the absolute answer or the clue to the existence of the one God, one Creator. Now, let's ponder upon this. What is the process of the human creation? We know that the process is set forth with the male and female interaction that thing takes place, and the child is automated birth process is set forth, in other words. And initially, starting with the clot of blood, they say, it turns into a little prolonged shape like the fruit of the mulberry, and this is what the doctors say. And then the backbone starts to be formed, and then the linkages to other vital limbs of the body. Uh, who knows what is happening? It's only Allah who knows, the Creator, the God. Because the process is going on in that place, which is covered with 3 layers of darkness, and where there is no physical access by anyone. It is there that the child is being created. That is the factory of the child. And over the period of 9 months, the whole thing is completed and delivered out. The nicely linked body limbs, you see, the heart, the brain, and the lungs, and the liver, and the kidneys, and the various limbs of the body. And the astonishing thing is that the process, once it's set forth, it never stops until the whole thing is complete. The mother is moving, the child is being created. Mother is sleeping, the child is being created. She is traveling, she is sleeping. No matter what she is doing, the child creation process continues, unabated. Now the big question, of course, need to ask as to who is doing it. Is it the mother who is doing it, and the father, or anyone else? Well, the closest to the clue one can say is turn towards the mother, because it is in her womb that the child is being formed. But what role she has? We know that she has nothing to do, very little to do rather. I won't say nothing, but I will say very little to do with it. She even doesn't know what stage of the formation the child is at that moment. I mean, she needs to turn toward the doctors and the instruments through which it can be checked as to what stage of development the child is and what is happening in there. So, leave alone what her own role in that, not at all. And then the child, I mean, what he needs inside the womb for his development was no idea. No one can have any idea. But basically, the material that is being provided for the formation of the child is coming from the food that the mother is eating, and it's provided to the child through the linkages. Now, what special material the child needs at that stage of development to develop that particular limb of the body, only Creator knows. And this is being sifted out from the material that is being provided through the food of the mother that she is eating. Now, such a complicated, intricate process and such an intelligent work being done in the pitch darkness. Who is doing it? There can be no other answer to this except to say and admit that it is one Creator who is doing it. He is the claimant for this, and he is the only one doing it. So this provides a big approach and clue to the belief in the God and His attributes. Since one of the attributes of the God Almighty is that He is the creator of all forms and the shapes. In Arabic it is called Musawwir. He is the one who formed the different. And then He is the one who is looking at everything at every time. This is one of His qualities. In the depth of the ocean, down below He can see. And inside the mountain, covered in the rocks, if anything is happening, nothing stops Him from seeing it. He has that quality. So, who holds that quality? It is that one God, the Creator, the Sustainer, the Provider. So, this process, who is doing it? There can be no other answer except to admit that it's Creator who is doing it. So this provides a big clue towards believing in the one God, in oneness of God. So, my dear viewers, we need to turn towards this thinking in order to develop our faith in God. And now let's come to the second stage, that is the stage from the birth till the death. Now this is where the man is active, this is what his life is. He is doing good and the bad things depending upon his what is in his heart. And who forms what is in his heart? It's the many factors. We'll talk about it later. And whatever he is doing is being written down by the angels, by the invisible system, and being recorded. And then a time is going to come when he's going to present it to him, where he is going to be held answerable to what he has done. And the third stage will be where he will be rewarded for good deeds. He will go to heaven, and for the bad deeds he will end up in hell. And there are no two things about it. It's absolute truth. So, my dear viewers, I invite you to think about these things before it is too late. Because if a person dies without believing in God, without having faith that God was my Creator, He created me, He supported my life, He provided the material that I needed to support my life in this life, if he doesn't believe in these things and dies like a infidel, non-believer, then that God who created him and provided for all his needs is so annoyed with him that he is going to punish him in the fire of hell. So, my dear viewers, before it is too late, I request and submit to those people who do not believe in God to do rethinking and to do the real thinking, I would say, and start to ask yourself these questions as to how have we come about in this life? Who created us? Who provided us for all the needs in the form of the fruits, the vegetables and everything that we are using to live this life? Who provided the air through which we are breathing, water that we are drinking? So all our needs. So we need to pose this question to ourselves. So self-analysis, that is today's lesson, and I request you to consider it seriously, think about it, and you will get the answer that it is one Creator, one God, who is at the back of all this, who is the one who is providing for our needs, to whom we are going to return one day and be held answerable for all our deeds. So, my dear viewers, we must take action before it is too late, because it's only one chance that we will be given, no other chance will be provided. Now I stop at this. Thank you very much for listening.